Welcome back to the Missing Details model channel, all you modding legends out there. It's been a while. Apologies. The weather's been good. The trail's been dry and dusty. I just want to get a quick video out as I'm probably going to be mountain biking quite a lot over the next few weeks. For those of you who don't know, I organised the North Somerset Modder Society model show. I've just put the promo video up on the channel. If anyone has any questions about not only attending this model show, but organising model shows, I'd be more than happy to get involved with a conversation with you, give you some guidance. It's a daunting task, but actually, once you get your head around it, it's pretty darn easy. You just contact people. People are more than happy to come and help, i.e., exhibit, trade, all that. So yeah, anyone has any questions about organising model shows or any suggestions what I should include into my model show, I'm always trying to improve how we do model shows in our area, be it maybe some more competitions or more inclusive competitions, tabletop competitions. One thing I really want to start including is having demonstrations and people coming on giving historical talks and seminars. So yeah, anyone want to get involved in a conversation or some advice? This is our model show. It's this weekend, the 12th of July, at the Helicopter Museum, West-super-Mare. That's that. So, where's the 109 collection at? Well, what it is it's grown. It's gone from 4 to 5. Went to a model show. Wasn't particularly happy with how I was judged. So, to improve my mood, I decided to buy myself another 109. So, I bought myself a BF 109A, an Anton, the AZ kit. AZ is what the K I'm currently building is. Again, short run. Yeah, say no more. But the fortunate thing with this build is I didn't have to be too tight with some seam lines and whatnot, because basically I'm going to cover it in foil. So here we are. This is a BF 109 Anton covered in foil. Unfortunately, that's not good enough for my standards. So we ditch this. I'm going to start again. There's some parts on the aircraft I've decided I'm going to leave off, like the rear tailplanes, because there's a strut which needs to be. Now this is a natural metal finish we're going for. There's a strut that needs foiling separately, and then so it's going to be easier to do all this and then put the rear tailplane on and the strut. Okay, so a few things we need. Now people say you want this kind of foil, which is like sweetie packaging foil, super thin, like Kit Kats, they say. But it's counterintuitive. What you really want is this bad boy. I haven't got the packaging, but this is Reynolds heavy duty cooking foil from the USA. You can get it on YouTube. You can get it on eBay, pretty cheap. If anyone ever sees me at a show, hit me up. I'll bring some along for you. I've got meters and meters and meters of it. So yeah, if you ever fancy getting involved with this technique, then hit me up. So we're going to need some foil. Going to need some stuff to cut the foil, be it on the aircraft. So I've got me scalpels with my new 3D printed covers, which aren't to stop me from hurting myself because I'm an adult, but they're to stop me from damaging the blade tips. More sustainability, looking after the tips of the knives. And then scissors. We're going to need quite a few different, well, at least not a few. I normally use 2 different types of cotton buds. Your standard round things like this. Get a couple out. They're mainly for cleaning. And then I use the Tamiya small they're the smallest ones they do, the smallest pointed ones. They're quite firm, and so they're really good for pushing down onto the surface, the foil, and it bringing the detail out. So, these super fine. They're pretty rough. These are great for cleaning stuff up, canopies and stuff. So, because I use them for this sort of technique, it means I then collect other things that might be useful. So, these are the Tamiya rounded ones. I've not used these for foiling yet, but I figured they might be useful. So, Tamiya rounded ones, and I've also picked up some Mr. Hobby rounded ones. Again, these are all the smallest sizes they do. Get them out. Okay, so the Tamiya, I say they're rounded, but they're actually quite square. Whereas these ones are kind of rounded. And unlike normal cotton buds, these are really quite firm. So I think that might be useful. So we're going to need some cotton buds or cotton swabs. And then we're going to need something to potentially press down into the surface to bring the detail out. So the obvious cocktail sticks. I guess in America you might call toothpicks. They're cocktail sticks. I recently picked these up the same place I got the 3D printed blade covers. They were 50p each, bargain, from Brooks Models, which is the great tool supplier that you see around all the shows in the UK. Rob Brooks is a lovely guy. These are from him as well. Now these, I haven't got these open, but as you can see, these are tiny little cocktail sticks. So we're probably always spending time sharpening these bad boys. So I figured, why not have some ones that are already sharp? 50p, bargain. As well as those two items for pressing down, I got the kneading tool, I guess I called it, which is what I use normally for sticking canopies down. I've shown you this before, probably in the top 10 of tools anyway. Speaking of tops, is an old favourite, which is my scribing tool. Easy in the top 3 tools of mine. I'm not going to use the scribing tip. What I use is the edge to push down into the panel line, like so. Obviously these are like hen's teeth finding these. I'll get into that in another video at some point. It's the Shimamura Alec Shimamura Alec Holly 0.15 scribing tool. Absolutely love it. But yeah, I figured you can get these thin, super thin razor saws. You could use the edge of that to do, because I'm going to use the back of this. This might even turn out to be better because it's finer. So that's for bringing out the detail. And then a selection of sanding. I generally wet and dry, but just to show you a selection, I got slightly more coarse. But yeah, generally I use wet and dry for sanding afterwards, because counterintuitively doesn't need to go down perfectly smooth. You can just sand out any crinkles and whatnot. Right, so this will probably just be a quick sort of first step, and I'll come back to doing some more detailed work later on, but it's all basically the same. I haven't done this for 2 years. Anyone who knows me from the show circuit, I'd love to sit there with my B17 in foil talking about this process over and over. So hey ho, you're watching me do it for the first time in 2 years, and I'm going to show you just how easy it is. So the first thing I'm going to do, which probably isn't the correct first thing to do, is get a piece of foil. I could probably show you. So these are the crappy bits of foil I crinkled up by sticking on the wings. Now we want to clean both surfaces. Also, some people say, burnish this, and burnish I mean kind of like burn it, to put in acid. All that, none of that's going to have any effect, because you're going to be sanding into the surface. Once it's on the model and we're happy, then we can maybe play around with natural weathering of the aluminium. Okay, so the first thing I do is some isopropyl alcohol. I didn't mention we're going to need the Micro Industries micro metal foil adhesive. This is the same company that makes your Sol and Set. I haven't used this for 2 years. Still seems pretty fruity. It's like a gummy glue. So yeah, so I've got some isopropyl alcohol on this cotton swab, and I'm just going to clean the foil. And by cleaning it, you can see it makes it nice and smooth. Okay. So effectively, I could use every scrap of the foil I've got. Although it's probably one of the better materials to recycle. They probably bite your hand for it. But yeah, so my process is I clean the side of the foil. There's a dull side and a shiny side. It don't make no difference that I know of. I've not discovered. I've done 4-engine bombers in this technique. I've not discovered anything, any difference in the sides. Okay, so just let that dry off or evaporate. A bit more isopropyl alcohol. Where should we start? I suppose we start with the wing. Let's clean the entire wing. You can see this is the model I've started. I've separated the leading edge. So basically, we're going to stick a piece on here, try and apply it as far as we go until it kind of. I'm going to struggle. I mean, it's a slightly different technique getting it to conform down into the wing root, but basically all you're doing is stretching it. Yeah, we could potentially do that now. Yeah, let's do it now. All right, so let that dry off, evaporate. We're going to do the wing root, want it nice and clean. Like I say, I haven't done this for a year, 2 years. So it's like baptism of fire, but it's what it is. So the part now and the foil clean, and just want the isopropyl alcohol to evaporate. Oh, so that's, you can see when I last did this, because at least we know it's airtight because it's created its own little seal in there. Yeah. Again, I haven't got to be too precious with this, in that one, it's cheap and it's not like your crystal clear Micro Industry, which you're going to use for windows and stuff like that. If there's a lump underneath it, it will just get sanded out. So I always use a cotton swab as well, because it just kind of saves down the cleaner stuff off a brush. Now, unlike unlike the amazing YouTuber Jen Wright, who I copied this technique off, I have slightly changed the technique. Now, what I like to do is I like to put the glue not on the foil but on the model. I find that way it doesn't pour quite as badly. By pour, I mean it doesn't seem to want to lift from the area you're applying it. Okay. Now I'm kind of half double guessing myself here. It's been 2 years after all. I'm going to read the instructions. Okay, yeah, so we just want to let it dry. By dry, I think it wants to go from the milky white to just a clear, glossy sort of finish. Take the very edge off of this. Now we're going to go into the wing root. I want to just make a bit of a curve. And hey, let's jump in. A bit of a bubble there, which I don't know really matters. Let's jump in, guns blazing, and just. Oh, it's a blister. That's me thinking it was a bubble. Like I say, any dust or any flux or anything, any dust or fluff or anything underneath, will just get sanded out. It's starting to dry. It's pretty hot today, so you think that would dry pretty quick. Speed things along with the airbrush. Okay, so just looking for most of the wet surface to disappear. Like it has there. I can go off. Get the optimizer on. So it's going to have to stretch around this wing root. So trying to start in a kind of place that's going to give us material to stretch both ways. Now I start off with just the general fat fluffy swabs, if you know what I mean. So I'm just going to press down from the area I think it's best to start this piece of foil because we're going to want to stretch it. Okay, now I'm pressing a bit more harder and it will be stretching. Should be stretching. Right, and then I'm going to push out. See, just push out any air bubbles. Again, I want to stretch that down to the front. So you can see it might be that we need to cut into foil slightly, not too far, just to give it some of the stretch. This is where some of these smaller rounder ones will come in useful. Because this will actually stretch the aluminium sheet out so it actually takes on shape. Okay, right, so it's kind of split on me just down in there. So I'll show you, but I will then redo this piece. What I won't redo is the wings coming along okay. There is a tiny panel line. The leading edge kind of overlaps. So I want to kind of push it the whole way over the edge. Like so. Now what we can do is we can go all the way to We've actually got a nice dog hound there as well. So a real demonstration. What I might try and do is keep this piece and fold it over and stick it up to here and use the panel line here as a way of making a join. That's basically what I do. Is in this scale, there's no point doing individual panels because you need to sand it all anyway. So you're just gonna, you can't finish one to the whole foil is down. You're gonna sand its neighbour as well. Okay, it's a little bit just here. It's a little bit crinkly, so I'm just gonna use my metal tool. Right, so now what I want to see is where is my panel line. So I can see one here. Right, so for demonstration purposes, it'd be nice if we can go all the way to there. Okay, so we kind of want it to go around these lean edge flaps. So I'm just going to press it in with the back of a knife, and then so this is where this tool comes in. I'm just running it along. Now the panel line is showing. We can make it show a bit more by using the points here. Using these fairly firm cotton swabs. You can start to bring out the detail, and then I can use this edge just to run along it. And cutting is just pressing into the, just embossing the foil. Yeah, you see the detail. So focusing, detail starting to come through. Likewise, we can go along here. Yeah, this is why I didn't have to really do a great wing root fill on this, because I knew I was going to be foiling, so I can effectively just use the foil to fill the wing root. Okay, all the details. Pressing firmly over the air brakes, whatever it is, A1 or something. Okay, well, that lovely detail comes out. Now we've got lovely hair. Lovely example. We've got nice dog hair there. Okay, so we can stretch it down. Start off with a firmer round one because it won't split straight away then. Although this might be a good point to cut the foil and then restart it. I think that's what I'd probably do there, is cut the foil effectively like this and get a nice edge on it. Okay. Okay, so I'll cut the foil. And what I'll do is I'll get a good impression of that one there, that panel line there. And then if you can see, so just using the groove, use a rounding knife. Using the groove just to hold the knife, to guide the knife over. Okay, so I'll probably carry this on down to the edge of this A1. I might well leave this bit on here. Anyway, so that's that. Then, so that's effectively stuck now. The next stage is the sanding. Like I showed you, I've got some dog hair, some lovely bumps and lumps. Probably should have cleaned the area before I started, but I didn't. So I like to wet and dry sand. Okay. Yeah, I'm using saliva, but I'm not contaminating my finger before I stick it in my mouth. Basically, just want to show you now when that black fluid appears, you know you're moving aluminium material to the sanding. Now, I don't normally just flatten that off so I can get in there. I don't normally do this so poorly. I'm normally a little bit more careful about it, but I just want to demonstrate to you. I don't normally end up with dog hair underneath it and all that, but I just want to show people it doesn't matter how it first looks, be it a join, be it a seam. Okay, now we've got loads of material on here. What I tend to do is, this is, there you go, 1000 grit. I know 1000 grit is different in all types, but it's kind of about as fine, about as fine a surface as, if I want to sand something on the plastic, any coarser than that, then I need this to polish it. I say polish it, make it smoother. Yeah, so that, and I can see, again, a bit of saliva, old school. And I can see it's doing its job because it's round the legs, so keeping that, keeping the joint of the wing root. But we can see it's moving material. It's a good idea every now and again, maybe just to wipe the black off and have a look. Okay, a bit more. So there's a tiny little couple of hatches in there. So this is where your toothpick come into play. Toothpick's actually got glue on it. So maybe we start off trying to reveal the hatch with your roughy tufty Tamiya swab, and as you see it starts to come through. Okay, let's get one of these bad boys. Save sharpening cocktail stick. All those seconds I've just saved on my life, thanks to Brook Models, if you can see. So now I've got the groove appeared, I can see it and I can feel it with the cocktail stick. Just run that around. I think there's another one, it's the same as this panel. See if you can find it with the firm swab. I can't actually find it. Okay, I'll check references, see if it's there first. So, a bit more sand in. Like I say, just super quick just to demonstrate it. Should probably have different swabs. So yeah, you start to see that hair. You can't see that dog hair underneath there anymore. Yeah, we can use our tools to get a more consistent line on there. It's pretty good. Run the risk of the video running out, but really I need a pot of water. This would probably be good to have one of these with the water dipping on. So that's what I'll be doing before I get into this process for real. Like I say, super busy organising the show and with work and with other stuff, family visits from America and Australia. But I just want to get a video out to show you guys what I've been talking about for the last 6 months. If you come along to the North Somerset Model Society 2026 model show, my models will be on show of this technique. Got a really nice B17, Carolina Moon, and nice Volti V1 with Jimmy Doolittle as the pilot. So there we go. Okay, so that's quite cool. So basically, I can demonstrate to you. I'm not even going to examine the finish because I'm not sure we're quite there yet, but just to demonstrate to you, what I would do is I'd mask these panels off like so. This would be the last final thing I do. And I find when I'm masking these off, because there's a slight step to the masking tape, just give it a little bit over into the next panel, and then that means you'll be able to sand right up close into there. So what I would do is I'd get this is actually more coarse. Let's get a finer one. Just wetting it, and I'd maybe just sound in a slightly different direction to what I was just doing. Get into the camera. Yeah, and I would, myself personally, this is how I'd individually weather each panel. Okay, so we can get some sort of coarseness going in terms of grits, and then we can get in there with something quite a bit finer. Okay, so we've gone in one specific direction there, so it should have a bit of character to that panel. And this is like quite a polishing grade on the back, so let's just give it a nice little buff. And voila. Okay, so then I'd probably come in there, mask off this panel, give that a sand, you know, trying to get it looking slightly different to these other panels. Then I could move that masking tape to cover that panel. When I do this, I generally use the same tape, so let's see if I can show you. So I'll have that like that once I've masked that one, and I'll maybe have this here. So I've basically got like a, you know, two sides of a box. I put another piece along the top, along here, So let's quickly have a go. Like I say, just a little bit proud, just so you can get right to the edge. Yeah, so I'll just shift this piece of, I'll reuse this and just keep shifting it along basically. So let's have a little, do some dabbing. Yeah. Remove this one. Okay, so you know, that kind of brushed aluminium look, that kind of not, well, don't really want to achieve that First World War like kind of brushed aluminium look, but yeah, we can give it a bit of character. Then we can start polishing it out. So you can go left to right with this bad boy. Okay, and possibly doing it that way, just to make sure we get right up to the edge. Watching it, see how it's looking. I mean, we can sand one way and we can buff the other way. And this might give us a interesting look. All we need to make sure is any mark we make doesn't look like it's made by the modeller's hand. If you get me, it can't look like me stabbing at it with a tool. Okay, let's have a look. Now, it's super kind of quick and rough. Probably should have started on the bottom. That's what your tester always is, isn't it? That's where you relearn your old techniques. But yeah, it's there. We have aluminium on the surface. Okay, so any questions? Give me a shout. I'll try and do a video. I can't promise it'll be anytime soon with everything going on, like the show. But yeah, the next steps will be basically, you know, doing the fuselage. Fuselage is quite convenient on a 109 because you've got a seam top and bottom, so I just cover half, stretch it around and cut it. Probably again, I mean, we've got panel lines all through here, so all I need to do, the hardest part is going to be to get it stretched to here. Now I'm going to get a couple of crinkles in this round bit, but I can put, you know, I'll stick that down, I'll flatten it as much as I can with a crinkle, and I'll prove to you in a later video that I can be sanded out. Okay, thanks for joining me again on the channel. Welcome to all new subscribers. Please like and share. Tell your club members. Go join the club. Go to a model show. Come chat with people. It's probably the best, most enjoyable part of this hobby. Chatting with like-minded modelers, and you know, chewing the fat, shooting the breeze, what have you. So don't forget to add your small details to your models, because if you do, it's going to stick out like a sore asshole. Cheers for now.